Going back through my books, finally got it back around to opening up a few more boxes. I wanted to show you guys some interesting books. شرح المنهج المنتخب إلى قواعد المذهب by Manjur. This is a really important book. It was printed by Dar Abdullah Shinqiti in Medina. So, great book, rare print. حاشية الروض المربع, very popular with Hanbalis, especially in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Not so much outside of that. Great in that he essentially gathers a lot of different adilla and ta'lilat. However, Ibn Qasim in general has been criticized as being solely someone who gathered information and not being the most exact. So it's a good quick guide, but there are better books in the madhab. Masail al-Imam Ahmed by Masail al-Imam Ahmed by Muhanna al-Shami. Now, this is one of the books of Masail that was actually lost, and it was reconstructed by my friend Ismail ibn Ghazi Marhaba, also known as Mujahid, brother from Lebanon, who I was neighbors, friends with him and his brother-in-law. Very scholarly person, did a great job in this piece of work here. This is an interesting book because it gives you a different perspective than what is normal for many of the things that you would find from scholars of the kingdom, and that is because Dr. Abdul Wahhab Ibrahim Abu Sulaiman is a scholar of Mecca. He is not a Hanbali. And he has an interesting take on many issues of mu'amalat, although in general he stays within what you would find in, say, the Fiqh Academy of the OIC. This is Al-Mubdi' by Al-Burhan ibn Muflih, the other Ibn Muflih. It's a great explanation of Al-Muqni'. It's one of the few explanations of Al-Muqni' in its entirety. Bought it from Maktabat Baz. If anybody remembers the area of Shamiyya in Mecca, and there used to be all these bookstores there that you could go and buy and find books that really just were out of print or that were hard to find, and this was one of them at the time. I'm sure that there are other prints now, but I remember buying this. Ilah al-Masalik ila Qawaid al-Imam Malik by Win Sharisi, famous scholar who wrote Al-Mi'yar al-Mu'rab, or Al-Mi'yar al-Mu'rab on Fatawa al-Andalus wal-Maghrib. So this is a book, important book, and you know, a lot of these books like this. So a lot of these books that are printed in Morocco are printed in this large form and are really, really well done. And what I'm really hoping is that much of the Moroccan prints become, and Moroccan scholarship in general, becomes more prevalent because there's a wealth of knowledge there that's not being taken advantage of. This is Tahrim Alat al-Talab by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, and this was a gift from my good friend Ibrahim al-Kubi from Florida. He actually got this in 1998, I want to say, 1997. Rawdat al-Talibin by Imam al-Nawawi. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that this is like a standalone book. It's actually a partner book to Al-Aziz, Sharh al-Wajiz by Al-Rafi'i. So you should really read both of those two books together. You read this book and you go, hey man, where's the dalil? The thing is that Al-Rafi'i generally mentions it all in Al-Aziz. This book, Ikhtilaf al-Darain wa Atharuhu, by Dr. Abdul Aziz Mabrouk al-Ahmadi, is it's a really good book that came out of the prints of the Jami' Islamiyya. So you have Jami' Islamiyya insignia. It's a really good book about this issue of Ikhtilaf al-Darain. Basically, do we divide the world into Dar Harb and Dar Aman, or Dar al-Islam and Dar Harb and then Dar Aman? How do you look at this as far as, venue, jurisdiction, political arrangements, so on and so forth? This is a Mulakhas al-Fiqhi by Shaykh Salih Fawzan. It was translated into the English language. It is a nice book for the general public, but I want to mention this here is because, not to take away from the Shaykh actually did something very great by making this book, but a lot of people don't know where the book's from. So this book actually was a radio program that Salih Fawzan basically took Dalil al-Talib and he wrote it, or Zal Mustaqni, and he wrote it out in a simple language for common people, and he delivered it on the Ida'at al-Quran Kareem, Quran radio station in Saudi Arabia. And then it was transcribed and then printed as a book. And so people are like, oh, this is amazing. Have you read Al-Mulakhas al-Fiqhi? Yes, but it's really not the type of book that's studied per se. It's not a student of knowledge book, but it's a good book for general people, right? Al-Kabir by Al-Mawardi, the famous scholar of the Shafi'i madhab, who was also a qadi. Our Shaykh Muhammad ibn Muhammad al-Mukhtar Shinqiti said, to get this book in the Shafi'i madhab,